Hey guys, it's Melanie, and today I have probably one of the most random reviews that I've ever done on my channel. However, I feel like I had such a good experience with this product, and so it's like my womanly civic duty to share the information with you guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Lunette Menstrual Cup. So if you are someone who is squeamish talking about periods, or tampons, or pads, or menstrual cups, I would probably just X out of this video now. So, this is something that I am doing a review on because it is such a game-changing product for me personally, and I really do think that if more people are educated about this, it could have a big impact, like in a lot of different ways. So I actually have Ashley from Texas Mommy of Boys to thank for me even looking into this, because she did a video about her experience with the Lunette Menstrual Cup, and it really got me thinking about menstrual cups in general, and researching them and figuring out what was best for me, and it happened to be that for me the Lunette Cup was the best option. So let's talk about the reasons why I really got interested in this in the first place. There are three main reasons why I decided to convert from being a tampon/pad user to a cup user. The first one is that there is a lot less waste, environmental waste, with the cup. This is one cup that you purchase and you clean it and reuse it. So there really is no waste, which is important to me. I care about stuff like that. Two, I have known two people in my personal circle who are very close to me who have gotten toxic shock syndrome. And while I know that it's rare to get toxic shock syndrome from tampon use, toxic shock syndrome is associated with using the higher absorbency tampons, and it's a life-threatening situation if you get it, and that scares me. And having known two people now that have gotten it, that hits a little bit too close to home for me, and so I wanted to get away from using tampons for that reason. That's very frightening to me. Three, as most of you know who watch my channel regularly, I am someone who has decided to be cruelty-free in as many of my beauty and home things as I can. So I try to buy cleaners for my house from companies that are cruelty-free. I try to, always purchase cruelty-free skincare, makeup, that kind of stuff. So I just, I know that a lot of the major tampon and pad companies are owned by Kimberly-Clark and Procter & Gamble, and those are companies that obviously still actively participate in animal testing for a lot of their products. So if I can avoid supporting those companies, that's another bonus to me. Okay, so those are my main reasons for switching over. By the way, if you have any questions that I don't answer in this video, I'm more than happy to do a follow-up video, so leave your questions down below if I do not answer it in my initial review here. Okay, so the Lunette Cup, what this is, most people have probably heard of the Diva Cup, but there are literally hundreds of brands of menstrual cups. There are so many. The Lunette is it's not a super firm silicone, but it's also not the softest cup that you can buy. I chose to get the model number 2. So there's two models with the Lunette. The one is for women who have never given birth to a child, or have really light flows. Model number 2 is a little bit larger cup, which is a better fit for women who have a heavier flow when it comes to menstruation and who have birthed a child. I have never been told that my vagina is abnormal in any kind of way. It's not tilted any kind of special way. It's a pretty average vagina, and from the research that I did, the Lunette Cup really is best for people who don't have any issues when it comes to their vaginas. So this works great for me. I have used this for one entire cycle now, and honestly, I had such a great experience with this, you guys. There is a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to inserting it, and some of you are thinking, how do I get it in there? It's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of practice. I would actually recommend practicing before your menstrual cycle starts, just with like getting it in there and taking it out so that you're comfortable with it. But it took me like 1 or 2 tries, and then it was like, this is so easy. So there are 2 kind of popular folds that you use to insert it. Essentially, you can do this C fold here. So you're just trying to create like obviously a smaller surface area to be able to get it up. But the most popular seems to be that people really like doing this fold where you push the silicone in, and that gives you there an even smaller surface area for inserting the menstrual cup. Once it gets up into your vagina, essentially it opens, it pops open like that. It creates a suction and the blood goes into the cup. I did not experience a single leak, and that was obviously because I inserted it properly. If you are experiencing leaks with menstrual cups, you're probably not inserting it properly. So once you get it up there, you do kind of like have to feel around to make sure that there are no gaps. If, for example, the cup didn't open up all the way, like, and you see this like gap right here, you could definitely experience a leak as a result of that. So if you find that there's a problem, all you have to do is simply remove it and reinsert it. So the way that you take it out is you squeeze the bottom. It does have this little like stem here, but you don't pull it by that. It's not intended for that. Some people cut this off. I've left it on because it doesn't like stick out or anything. So I'm just leaving it intact. But you essentially just grab the very bottom, and there are grips here if you can see that. You grab it, and that breaks the suction if it's in there properly, and then it just slides right out. You empty it into the toilet. You clean it up at your sink. You use any kind of like hand wash or body wash that is completely unscented. You wash it, and then you are able to reinsert it. Really simple. You can also just wipe it with like, you know, a unscented wet wipe or toilet paper, and then you can essentially just reinsert it. In terms of how many times you change it a day, I changed it twice a day. Once in the morning, and then once in the evening around like 7 o'clock. And I have a pretty decent flow in terms of like the amount of blood, and this handled it no problem. No problem at all. You don't bleed nearly as much as you think that you do. It's really hard to tell with tampons exactly how much blood you are releasing, but yeah, it's really not that much. It's honestly easier to use than tampons and pads because it basically takes the same amount of time, but it's just, to me, cleaner in some ways, and just a lot more sanitary. I wore pads at night to go to bed, and oftentimes I would leak, which is really obnoxious. And during the day I would use tampons. And tampons I would have to change, you know, quite frequently. And I try to use the lighter absorbency ones because I know that the toxic shock syndrome is mostly associated with like the larger absorbency tampons. So I would stay away from like the ultra and the super if I could. But that meant that I was mostly using like the regular ones, and I would have to change them a lot more often. One of the things that always kind of grossed me out with tampons was that when you would pee, like you would get pee on the string, and then you'd have to like touch that, and you know, you'd have to like, when you pulled your underwear back up, like you'd be sitting there with like this wet string just kind of hanging out. There's nothing here gets wet when you pee. It doesn't affect urination at all. I know that sometimes when people wear tampons, like it can put pressure on your urethra, and it could potentially like interrupt like the flow of your urine. This did not do that for me at all. I had no problem emptying my bladder completely. Didn't affect that in any kind of way. Like I said, insertion for me was really easy. Removal was easy. Cleaning it is easy. When you first get it, and every time you, you know, finish your period and start your period, the way that you really sanitize this thing is you put it in boiling water, and you don't want this to touch like the bottom of the hot pan, because it is silicone, so it could potentially like melt or get damaged. What I did was put it in a wire whisk. You know, I obviously washed it really good first, and then I put it in the wire whisk, put it into the boiling water. The whisk essentially prevented the cup from like touching the bottom of the pan, and then it just allowed the water to circulate and sanitize it, and it's ready for use. I'm really happy with this, you guys. It honestly, once you get it in, you cannot feel it. A lot of times I could feel tampons if I didn't insert them properly. This, it almost seemed like there wasn't a way for me to not insert this properly, if that made sense. When you're sleeping at night, like you just feel so much more secure, because you know you're not going to leak anywhere. You don't have to wake up in the middle of the night to change your tampon. You just do it in the morning, and it's so easy, you guys. Honestly, I've watched so many reviews of these menstrual cups now, and the people that initially were a little bit squeamish about it or uncomfortable about the idea are total converts. It's absolutely something that you just have to try, and once you try it, it's like, where has this been all my life? Honestly, I regret not investing in this sooner. In terms of the investment, so I used to spend about $15 to $20 a month on panty liners, tampons, and pads, and this is a one-time investment for me of, I believe it was $39. I purchased mine from drugstore.com. I will go ahead and link where I got mine down below, but there's lots of places where you can get them. You can get cheap imitation ones on eBay or Amazon. I would not do that. I would go for a name brand, like well-reviewed, well-established company like Lunette or Diva Cup. Yes, it's a little bit of money up front, but if I was spending $15 to $20 a month, and I'm very regular, so I got my period on a monthly basis, you know, within 2 months, I essentially recouped the cost of this. And the Lunette website does say that you can use this a year, even beyond. If there's no damage to the silicone, if it's still working well for you, there's no reason that you can't keep this for 3, 4, 5 years. And again, you just have to be really diligent about cleaning it, sanitizing it, and then you can easily reuse it. The cup does, from Lunette, come with this little pouch that you store it in. So you essentially just plop that in there, close it up, and the next time you get your period, this is it. I think this is so fantastic. It's great for travel because you're not having to take an entire box of tampons and pads with you if you're on your period. You know, you can actually wear this in anticipation of getting your period. Like if you know there's like a, you know, you're within like a day or two of starting, you can just put this in and it just catches it before it even starts. It's so easy, you guys. Honestly, I really encourage you to look into these. If not for like the environmental reasons, if only for like the cost savings over the long term, think about just how much money you're going to save in the long run from not having to spend $15 to $20 a month on tampons and pads. I mean, that's huge. Like that really adds up over time. And then there's obviously like the environmental waste, the amount of plastic that you're putting into like the landfills. This is just a much cleaner, safer option. And if you've never thought about it, I would really encourage you to think about checking these out, or at least looking for more reviews out there. They do send you a really nice booklet with the Lunette that gives you all sorts of advice on inserting the product and changing, you know, how to sanitize it, tips and tricks, all kinds of stuff. This is really great, you guys. Hopefully I answered most of the questions out there, but if you do have additional questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I will do a follow-up video either next week or the following week if there's enough questions to warrant that. But it's really, really worth looking into. If you are someone who has tried the menstrual cups yourself and you have feedback, whether it's good or bad, leave it down below for other people to be able to read. For me, this was just a really great product. And I'm so excited about it. Like, it's just, I was telling Craig, I was like, I'm so excited about this thing. And he's like, that's great. He didn't really see like the overall benefits, but I was like, we're gonna save so much money on like tampons and pads alone. And he's like me, he's a little bit of an environmentalist. And so he was like, well, if you're not, you know, producing like a crap ton of waste going forward, then that's definitely a good thing. So, I mean, even he was able to see the benefits of switching over to the menstrual cup. So, you know, there's all sorts of things that I didn't even address, you know, that's like beneficial from using the menstrual cup. I just gave you my 3 main reasons, but if you really do your research, there's a ton of like really good reasons to utilize one of these cups versus like the standard, you know, tampons or pads. So there you guys go. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Thank you for watching my review, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.